Hi everyone, this is Laura Barat from laurabaratastrologer.com, and today I'm going to continue with the series that I was doing before I took a little break. It was not really a little break, it was about a year break, but so what have I been doing? Well, I've been doing readings, lots and lots of readings, and I had a bit of a conundrum in what I wanted to do, if I wanted to totally dive into astrology completely. And I've actually decided that's what I want to do. And it took me a while to decide that, but I have decided that. So here I am, back again. Okay. But anyway, I'm going to continue on with the Varga charts, talking about Vargas, because this is a pretty important aspect of Vedic astrology. And so it is, well, Vedic astrology is Varga charts. Most people, as you know, are born within a 2-hour period. Everybody born around the same area that you were has the same chart. And of course, we all have vastly different lives. So I'm talking about the Chaturthamsa today. And that this is the D4 Varga, or the fourth harmonic, they call it in Western astrology. I'm not sure if they measure it the same way, or they calculate it the same way in Western as they do in Vedic, but I'll put down in the description how to calculate it. Okay, it's pretty easy. But in this chart is very unique in that not a lot is written about it. It's kind of neglected. The same goes for the D7, or what they call the Saptamsha. There's not really a lot of interpretation. Parashara gives a word, fortune, for the Chaturthamsa, and that's it. So, but it's, what it is, this chart is the chart of fortune. And fortune is getting our share, getting our portion in life, getting our fair share and what we are allotted by the karmas of this life. And that is seen through the planet of Mercury. Okay, Mercury is the Karaka, or the key planet of this Varga. So the status of Mercury, his Divisional, or his dignity, and this is combined dignity, the natural and temporary dignities, or friendships, and that's how you calculate it. You calculate that in the birth chart, and then you carry that over into the D4 with some modifications. But the dignity of Mercury is very important, as is whether he is Rashi aspected by Saturn or Rahu, okay, or both, and or if he's Rashi aspected by Jupiter, because Jupiter is a manifesting planet. So, and let's see. So, in this chart, you do see, if you get your fortune, it is the chart of accumulating a lot of wealth that does not necessarily go to taking care of your responsibilities. It's more wealth in the essence, or the fact that it gives you more wealth to buy a second home, more wealth to buy a yacht or a boat, throw away money, in other words, okay? And I've done a video about this chart before, but I did it in the sense of whether you would live overseas or not. You can see that from this chart. You can also see what kind of house the person lives in, but that's a completely different technique. It's a Gemini technique. So, then this chart shows what you are fortunate with. Okay? If you're fortunate with certain planets, if certain planets are very strong in this chart, meaning if they have really good dignity, they're exalted, they're in Mula Tricona, they're in their own sign, and they're aspected by Mercury and Jupiter. Mercury and Jupiter are manifesting planets, and I'm talking Rashi aspects here. Then that planet is going to give you fortune, okay? And it doesn't necessarily mean wealth. It can mean health, beauty. It can mean real estate, land. It can mean you're wealthy in your knowledge. All right. So if Jupiter, you're wealthy in wisdom, knowledge, in spiritual aspirations. So it shows where you're getting your portion. Now, the most important house cusps in this chart are the 4th, the 7th, and the 1st. The 4th, because naturally it is a 4th house varga. The 7th, because the 7th, if you add up all the numbers in 4, I think it's 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 3 is 6, 6 plus 4 is 10, and 1 plus 0 is 1. So the 1st house also becomes very important. And the 1st house is our body and our health. So if we have a fortunate body, usually the person can go a long way in life. And the body, a human body, is considered to be very fortunate, even if it isn't healthy. It's considered to be that way, spiritually speaking. Having a human body and being born on planet Earth is considered to be a boon, actually. So there's that. Then the 7th house, this is really important because this is also in numerology. If you square 4, you get 16. 1 plus 6 is 7. The 7th house is the 4th from the 4th. And the 7th house is business and business partners. So we can be fortunate with our business. We can be fortunate with the public. The public is also the 7th house. And the public can embrace us. Usually that means we're fortunate, right? If we do well with other people in general. Then we have the partner. If we have a supportive, loving partner, the spouse, then that is very fortunate. That can make or break our lives for a lot of people. So that's really important. A good 7th house cusp, a good 4th house cusp, and a good ascendant. I'll just give you an example right off the top of my head. I'm not in front of my computer, obviously. But Bill Gates, for example, he's one example. He has an exalted Mars in his 1st house in his Chaturthamsa. And he owns quite a bit of land. Accordingly, apparently he's bought up a lot of farmland in the United States. He's one of the biggest owners of farmland in the United States. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but that's good for him, right? So, and I used to live in Seattle. I would drive across Lake Washington, and he had a compound right on Lake Washington. You could see it from this floating bridge. I think it was the 520, they call it. And it was just, the real estate was amazing. It was quite an architectural feat. Okay. So that's one example. Okay. And then, of course, other people that can manifest if their 1st house is very fortunate. They can have a really super athletic body, very healthy, and a beautiful body presentation. Okay. Now, talking about the deities. This is really interesting. There are deities for every varga. And the deities of the Chaturthamsa are the Kumaras. And these aren't necessarily deities. They're kind of an essence or a theme. Okay? And there's 4 of them. Now, the first one, the first Chaturthamsa is, let's see, it's 7.5 degrees. So if you have a planet between 0 and 7.5 degrees in a sign, That planet is ruled by the deity Sanaka, and Sanaka means former ancient. Okay, so what does that mean? That means you get fortune from things that you've always had. It literally means former ancient, and it means that it's something that you're born with, a talent you've always had, something you can count on, something that is always there. Okay, you can have it from your earliest memories. And then the second one, and this is from 7.5 degrees to 15 degrees, is Sananda. And Sananda means having joy. So the planet or the house cusp that's in Sananda or ruled by Sananda gives you fortune because it gives happiness and it gives joy. Okay, pretty simple, right? Then from 15 degrees to 22.5 degrees, if you have a planet or house cusp there, that's called Sanat Kumara. And Sanat Kumara is ever youthful. That's what it means. And this planet or house cusp will give you fortune because it's always something new. It gives you something new to work with, or you use the planetary energies in an ever new way. You have more luck with new situations and new people, new things in regards to those planetary energies or the indications of that planet or house cusp. And you also never get bored with it. Okay? Now, if planets are afflicted in this, it means you don't really benefit from new situations. Okay? And I had forgot to mention something at the very beginning. This varga, the Chaturthamsa, it does not indicate loss. If you see a planet that is ill-disposed or a house cusp that is Rashi aspected by Rahu or Saturn, or the Lord is debilitated, or there's a debilitated planet with that house cusp, then that means that you don't get those things. It doesn't mean you have ill fortune with them or you have bad luck with them. It just means that they are taken out of your life. Okay? So if you have a planet that's in the ever new, the Sanat Kumara, ruled by that deity, then that planet isn't going to give you, or new situations are not going to give you anything. You're not going to benefit from them. If you have a planet that is in the Sanaka, or ruled by the Sanaka deity, then that just means things that have been with you from the very beginning, talents that you may have, don't necessarily give you fortune. They don't provide fortune, but they're still a talent. Okay? And then if you have planets that are ill-disposed or house cusps in the Sananda, or ruled by the deity of Sananda, then those don't really give you joy. They aren't interesting to you. You don't get anything out of it. They may drain you. You get bored with it. You know, things like that. So that's how that works. Okay, so the last one is Sanatana. Okay, not the band. So this one is eternal. That's what it means. This one rules eternal. And that means that this is something that lasts forever. Planets and house cusps here last forever, even through loss and endings of things. So that's a really good thing because it's always with you. Okay? It will remain with you, and it'll last for a very long time. If you have afflicted planets or house cusps here, that means that that thing will not last. And if it does last, it doesn't give you fortune just by lasting forever and remaining with you. Okay? So that's how the Chaturthamsa works. And that's how you can get some really nice details and insights. And you can basically give yourself a chart reading just by the Chaturthamsa or the D4 chart. All right, so thank you for watching, and I'll be making a lot more videos So you can count on that from now on. All right, bye.